Okay, well, welcome back. This is Leverage Your Voice, and it's my podcast, and it's my new name. And last time I learned that maybe I'll even say it's Leverage Your Voice because people gotta know. People need to know. And that I think is applicable to today because, as you can see today, we have a special guest, Brandon. Brandon is our special guest, and I'm going to have him introduce himself. Just tell us, real simple, a little bit about yourself and not your business yet. Just who in the world are you and where do you live?
I'm Brandon Still. I live in Clarkston, Michigan, just about 45 minutes north of Detroit. My background is consulting, community building, co-working, and I'm happy to be here on Leverage Your Voice.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, one of the things that's going on in Brandon's life is something that we need to know about, but we're going to get to that in just a second. But before we get to that, Brandon, who do you help and what do you do for them? Just share with us a little bit about the business that you're in.
Sure. My business is the Integrated Life Company, and I help community leaders transform their local economies with small town co-working spaces.
Very cool.
Very cool.
And they're in Clarkston, right?
Correct. The first co-working space I ever opened, Main Street MI, is located in Clarkston, right on Main Street, in a small 1870s carpenter shop that we repurposed into an entrepreneurial ecosystem.
And it's an awesome spot. I have the pleasure of coming there every couple of weeks for one of the meetings that occur in there. And people can come there and do different things, right?
Yeah, we're membership based. We host a variety of events. Our members have 24/7 access to the space. We have 3 different membership levels. And what it's really about is building community amongst small business owners and entrepreneurs, all working together to help each other grow and thrive.
Well, some of those meetings that I'm at is small business owners working together to thrive. And so that's the purpose of that building. And I've seen it in action and it's great. Now, I saw you wrote an article once about having dust in the corners on the floor, but I got to ask you about that. Just tell us a little bit about that story.
Sure. It's a true story. So I was giving a tour one time. I thought it was going really well. And at the end of the tour, we sat down, we were having a conversation. And the gentleman who I was giving a tour to, he kept looking over my shoulder. And so finally I broke down. I just asked him, I said, is everything okay? Is something wrong? And he said, I just can't stop looking at the dust under that couch. And I knew right then and there this was not the place for him. And he did not sign up. We have a great relationship. We send business back and forth to each other. But so after that, I wrote a bit of a presentation and I put in there, when you think of us, think warm coffee, old wood floors, and a little dust in the corner. And that was the thing that everybody responded to, was that dust in the corner. So I said, I'm just going to make it part of our tagline and kind of who we are, because, old building like this, maybe somebody better at cleaning than myself could get rid of the dust, but I swear it just comes up from the floors every day. And if you don't like that, it's probably not a place you want to have your office, and that's totally okay. There are other places that don't have dust.
I like it because it's not stale and, all that new stuff. And it feels, there's all the new technologies there.
Right.
But it just feels warm and cozy when you come in and when you sit there. And that's a great atmosphere for the kind of creativity that entrepreneurs are always needing to be engaged in.
Right. That's what we think, at least.
So, well, obviously a lot of people do because that building has a lot of tenants.
Correct. We're 2,400 square feet, so not very big, and we're home to 26 different entrepreneurs or business owners here.
Awesome. Plus a variety of meetings and all that. So that's great. So that's going great. I know you have other things like that going on out in the world, but I don't want to cover that today. Today I want to talk about an event that you have coming up which I think is really cool. What is that event? And just tell us a little bit about that, and we'll get into more of it as we go.
Yeah, thanks. So I think it's really cool as well. So coming up on Saturday, June 8th is the 2024 Unplugged Retreat. It's our second annual business retreat with a focus on providing small business owners, entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, really anybody who helps grow a small business. We're providing them with a day to disconnect from the distractions of the rest of the world, come together and learn from over a dozen speakers and presenters. We're covering a variety of topics from relationship capital to accounting to mood management and leadership. And what I really like, in addition to the fact that it's on a farm nestled in Ortonville, over 40 acres, it's a great setting. But it's more hands-on than a lot of retreats or conferences people may have gone to in the past. It's a smaller group. Some of the workshops, you'll have an opportunity to work with these presenters and leaders on your specific problems that you're facing. You're going to meet a ton of people. It's very interactive. We also have opportunities for wellness sessions. We have yoga, we have sound healing. We have a local business professional who is hosting guided hikes through the trails there. So we incorporate this wellness and this opportunity to focus on yourself. And whether that means you want to spend all day learning and working, or you want to have a good excuse to go for a hike or go kayaking, it's about working on yourself and providing yourself the opportunity to grow as a business owner and professional.
Well, that sounds cool. And I've seen some of the information that you have online about it. And we're going to talk about how people can sign up for it at the end.
Okay.
Let's talk about what happens. Let's say I sign up for it.
Mm-hmm.
I show up. What time am I showing up, and what am I going to be met with? What's my experience just to get there and get involved and be, I mean, you're not going to sit me on the grass, with the dew making my butt wet, are you?
Well, if you want to.
If you want
So it is a full day event. So registration, meet and greet time is 8 a.m. till 9 a.m. When you turn down Bird Road in Ortonville, you're going to come up on Narren Farms. And I love this location. I've hosted other events there. You come in through a long tree-lined gravel drive. On your left-hand side, there's going to be horse pastures, the sun rising. It's a beautiful setting. As you pull up, we have 4 different lodges. The main lodge will be where we're hosting the registration, the sign-in. Right away, you'll be overlooking a beautiful lake. So it's a really natural setting, picturesque. Already you'll see we have yoga starting early in the morning. And it's not intense. You can do it in blue jeans and a t-shirt. You can do it if you've never done yoga before. I'm not a very flexible person, and I can do it. Yeah, and then at 9 o'clock, we're going to start with our first presentations. Throughout the day, there's different tracks you can take. So we try and pair up presentations against each other, where if you're into AI, you can go and learn from one of the industry's leaders on AI. If you're not into AI, you can head on the other track, and we're talking about communication solutions for small business owners. So throughout the day, lots of things to pick and choose from. We'll also have wellness activities going on during that. And then a lot of people's favorite part is the food. We work with local chefs, local companies to provide great food, all made right on location. So we'll have a great lunch. We'll continue into the afternoon with more workshops. We have many branding sessions with photographers you can sign up for. That might be a great chance to take a break and maybe go for a hike or kayak for a little bit. And then in the evening, we'll have dinner. We'll have some, we call it not your normal networking activities. Last year, we played True two Truths and a Lie business edition, which was a ton of fun. You get to know people on a slightly less formal level. And then at the end of the evening, we'll have a bonfire and live music from One Ton Trolley. It's going to be just a fabulous way to end the event. And for those who are interested, this location this year offers rustic camping opportunities. If you just want to, maybe you're traveling from a long way, you want to spend the whole day there, you don't want to worry about driving home at the end of the night. You can bring a camper, you can bring a tent, you can hang out afterwards, spend the night. And in the morning, we'll have a light breakfast and we have a motivational send-off presentation from one of our speakers, 𝗨𝗽𝗽𝗃𝗏𝗏. So it's immersive, it's a full day thing. And from what I heard last year, the people who really commit to the whole thing get the most from it. We're not taking attendance. If you can only make part of the day, that's okay. But I strongly recommend blocking off the entire day into the next morning and embracing the whole thing.
Awesome. So when we do these events, are we in one of those cabins? Are we outside? How's that work?
Yeah, so I try and design most of the day that you can be outside. Some of the presenters, based on their technology needs, will be inside. There's a couple projection TVs, flat screens that they can hook up for the technology. The food's going to be outside, weather permitting. But a great thing with this location is that if it is raining, we have a ton of indoor space. We have an indoor spot for the band to set up. So it's a rain or shine event. It will happen regardless of the weather. And I'll be outside no matter what. I'll be out there in the rain a little bit if I need to.
All right, so if we're watching a speaker outside, do you have them like on a stage or something with some chairs set up and that sort of feel?
Yeah, so we have the pop-up tents, so you're shaded. We work with a company called Passive Mission Productions, Andrew Bowmaster out of Clarkston, and he sets us up with all the lighting and sound that we need. So there's microphones, there's speakers, there's not a bad seat in the house sort of situation. And we provide the chairs. You're welcome to sit in the grass, and some people may, but we'll provide the chairs for you so you're comfortable. And each presentation will vary from a half an hour to workshops that are closer to 2 hours, depending on which track you want to join for that part of the day.
Now, some people are thinking right now, I'm going to bring a notepad and a pen and I'm going to take notes. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I would be prepared with notebooks, pens, paper, or should you prefer, if you're a laptop or tablet sort of person, that's totally fine too. And even though it is unplugged, there is Wi-Fi throughout the ground, so we're not taking you totally back into the dark ages. And certainly bring some business cards. You'll have plenty of opportunities to hand them out and meet new people. We do provide waters throughout the day, but some people like to bring their own, maybe some sunscreen. Hopefully we finally get some summer weather and you need it. And some layers. It'll probably be a little chilly in the morning, and then by the afternoon, hopefully it's nice and warm for us.
I think it will be that. And there's changing rooms and things like that if somebody's going to go kayaking and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Yep. You're totally set with everything you need.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So at the event, I did notice that you're speaking there. What are you talking about on that day?
Well, I find this to be an interesting topic. We'll see if anybody else does. I'm going to be going over understanding your 3 basic financial statements as a small business owner, being your P&L, your balance sheet, and your cash flow statements. Not a lot of people know I got my start in small business, actually doing bookkeeping for a consulting company. And I do have a passion about people at least knowing what those financial statements mean. Maybe they don't know how to compile them, but we'll be going over how to read them, how to download them from QuickBooks, what they mean and what it means for your business. So some hands-on business 101 for people who maybe skipped that or never had a training in financing or accounting, but they still have a successful business.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to have a lot of different speakers there. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Going to have food and all that sort of thing. And people have a chance to do all these different things. What if they just want to take a little break and just sit and relax a little? How would they do that?
Absolutely. That was some feedback I got last year, actually. We had a couple people who just kind of wanted to go take a nap and hang out and have some breakout sessions. So there are plenty of spaces throughout the grounds to take a break. We're actually going to bring some hammocks if people want to, take a nap in a hammock. There's plenty of rooms throughout the buildings if you want to have kind of a breakout session with somebody you just met. There's also, they have some rescue animals on the grounds, and they have horse stables there. So if you're somebody who wants to just kind of walk away and go check out the animals and the horses, there's opportunities to do that too. You really get to design your own experience in your own day.
Awesome. Now, I come to the event, spend my day there, do all these different things. Then either that evening or the next morning, I head home. What's my experience then after having spent the day there with you? What am I thinking about that next week? How am I feeling about it? What's my experience after the event?
Yeah, the biggest thing that at least I got, and from what I've heard from people last year that they got, is in addition to the knowledge and the skills that you learn in the presentations, it's the relationships that are built there. A great example, one of our speakers, Jason Tracy, he runs a podcast called Coffee and Grit. And if you've watched throughout the year, he still has guests that he met from last year's retreat coming on there. And he's located in Brighton. And it's really cool to me to see these relationships form over greater geographic areas. I think a lot of us kind of operate in our silos, and we're part of this group or that group. And this is an opportunity to kind of break through those barriers, meet people from all over. We have attendees coming from all over the Midwest at this point. So you'll make relationships, and hopefully those go with you throughout the coming weeks and months and years afterwards. And I like to think you're going to be motivated and inspired. We tend to get some solopreneurs, and for a lot of people, being a solopreneur, it can be tough. It's mentally taxing, and so knowing that there are other people out there who can support you and have your back, that can be a very motivating experience. So, coming into the next weeks, hopefully you have a new energy and inspiration to grow your business.
All good things. What's it cost for somebody to come to the event?
So right now we're still in our early registration period. That'll go for about 2 more weeks. It's $150. That includes the whole day. That includes your food. If you are somebody who wants to spend the night, there's no additional fees for that. And then after the early registration period, it goes up to $200 per person. And they are, because of the planning and the uniqueness of the event, it is a non-refundable ticket. However, you can transfer it to somebody else if something happens last minute and you can't make it.
Okay, so there's a big market of scalping those tickets.
Yeah, Ticketmaster marks them up a lot, so go direct to the source.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, well, just for what you get for $150, it seems like it's more than worth it for somebody to come out to the Unplugged event. June 8th, as I recall, is that a Saturday?
That is Saturday, June 8th. Last year was a Friday. We got some feedback. People would love to have it on a weekend. So Saturday, June 8th, you can get there as early as 8 a.m. at Narren Farms and be prepared for a full day.
All right, that's perfect. Now, will you have invited and have there some of the different entrepreneurs that either work in some of your, what's the name of the places that you have?
The co-working spaces?
There you go. will you have some of the entrepreneurs working in your co-working spaces at the event? And even will you have some people who are considering, maybe even in this area or in other areas that you're working, coming to this event? And I'm just curious, because that'd be interesting to meet some of those people as well.
Yeah, so we'll have kind of both. We will have entrepreneurs from the co-working spaces that are in existence right now. We will have some of the managers of those spaces and other spaces that are not associated with me. And then we'll also have people who are considering opening their own co-working space. So it's a great blend of people across different roles in the entrepreneurial ecosystems, different leaders, different small business owners. So it's really fun for me to see it all unfold.
That sounds cool. A lot of people that are worth meeting are going to be there, so it sounds really cool. All your food taken care of. So I can just send a note about what I want to eat, and you'll make sure you have that, or you'll know you're going to tell me what I'm going to.
Within reason, we're going to tell you. We have plenty of options for people who are vegetarian or vegan, who don't eat meat. So you'll have something.
There's a wide
no matter what you're. Yes, yep. We have a great variety. It's all fresh, made on location. Yeah, there were, I think, a lot of people to highlight last year was the food.
Awesome, awesome. So now I'm watching this video. I'm thinking this branding guy's pretty cool. I want to go to his event. Where am I going to sign up, to learn more, to see the speakers, all that sort of thing? Where am I going?
Sure. The best place to go is right on my website. It's 𝗟𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗿𝗏.com. You can find a link to the Unplugged Retreat in the navigational menu. Or if you're somebody who likes to type it all in, it's 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃.com/unplugged-retreat. We also have plenty of information on our social media. So Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, it's all under @IntegratedLifeCo. You can see bios of the speakers. You can see some photos from last year's event. So it's all out there, but for purchasing tickets right through the website, you'll get confirmations as soon as you purchase. And then in the week before, you'll get a bigger email that has all the things to bring, what to expect, and you'll be all set to go.
Perfect. That sounds good. Now, that's a lot about Unplugged, which is good because that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
But I had another question for you. So I've noticed, so I follow you on social media, LinkedIn and Instagram and all, and I've noticed that you like to write articles. And I've noticed that you're actually good at writing articles. So I'm just curious, how is it that you're so good at writing articles? Is this like something that you've trained in, or is it just like natural for you? How'd you get to be someone who can write articles that keep people's attention from start to finish?
Well, I appreciate that because I didn't know anybody reads them from start to finish. I don't know that it was a training necessarily. I do enjoy writing. I've always enjoyed writing. I like writing for people more than speaking in front of people. But yeah, it just has always been, I think, the best way I can convey my message. And I've found success with it recently, so I've embraced it more. And you know, as long as that continues, I'm going to keep trying.
Well, I like your writing, and I think a lot of people read it from start to finish. And part of it is, one, it's interesting, but also it's not like 100 pages that I got to commit to. You have a capacity to keep it crisp, but still there's a lot of information in there. So I like your style. I think it's great.
Thank you very much. I appreciate hearing that, and I'll try and keep it up.
Keep writing. All right. Anything else that you want to share today? And remember, our podcast is called Leverage Your Voice. And as my last guest said, because people need to know, and people need to know about Unplugged. Did you have a chance today to leverage your voice and share your message about Unplugged? I'm hoping so.
Absolutely. And what I would leave people with is, if you have any questions at all, whether you're really interested or just kind of interested or purely curious, please feel free to reach out. I love talking about it. I love the opportunity to talk about it. So I appreciate you having me on here very much. And I appreciate your time and everybody else's time.
Awesome. Now, when we post this, we're going to put your links in the notes or in the comment or whatever it is. So it's not on the screen, but people will be able to click something on the page so that they can get to you. So we'll do all of that. And what I want to do is thank everybody for joining us today and thank our guest, Brandon. Brandon, I now have 3 Brandons in my life, and all of them spell their name differently. It's the
Oh,
crazy.
I know.
It seems like
Yeah.
such a simple thing, but no. So
You would think so.
so that's another thing I have to deal with. What am I writing? Okay. So thank you for joining us today. Appreciate it. You've been a great guest. And as I tell so many, look, you didn't break the podcast, so we got to change the name and everything. So we're good. You did great. So we can keep
Pressure's
going.
off.
Yeah, pressure's off. We did great. Thank you. Thank everybody for joining us. We'll see you next time. Really appreciate you joining us. Check out Unplugged.
Thanks.